When I talk to a spouse that has either just found out about their spouse's infidelity or has just come clean and is trying to find hope or perspective that the marriage can make it, you know, one of the questions that comes to their mind almost immediately is, can we ever be the same again? And unfortunately, I am tasked with the humble truth of having to say, no, you are, as a marriage, never going to be the same again. But very quickly behind that statement is, but why would you want to be the same again when you had an affair or your spouse had an affair, so something was broken? My immediate comment as we start to have that conversation is to say, some of the best marriages in this world are the marriages that have been restored and repaired and mended. It's just the absolute God's honest truth. Some of the best marriages you're going to find are the ones that have been through hell and appeared as though there was no hope for tomorrow, and they've been restored. Your question to me would probably be, you're kidding me. There's no way. Or how can you say that? Or you've got to be trying to sell me something. There's no way that you're telling me some of the best marriages are the marriages that have come back from death. And I would tell you today, it's the God's honest truth. Some of the most phenomenal people you meet are the people that have been through hell, that have almost taken their own life, that have endured extreme pain. When they speak, when they talk, there's something different about them. There's an appearance in their eye that tells you they've been on the brink of death. They've lost everything, or they've had to stare death in the face and come back. Well, welcome to the opportunity to be one of those people. Welcome to the opportunity to see your marriage be that kind of a marriage. And let me give you some deeper explanation as to why some of the best marriages are marriages that have been restored after infidelity. Number one is Samantha and I have an authenticity that is unlike we ever knew for the first 10 years of our marriage. She knows me at a level of absolute transparency. Rick says this all the time, you can't be unconditionally loved until you're unconditionally known. And I'll tell you, it's been painful and it's been gut-wrenching, but Samantha unconditionally knows who I am, and I can tell you I unconditionally know who Samantha is. I've seen her at her best and I've seen her at her worst, and oh, by the way, I've seen her at her worst because of what I have done. That levels the playing field right there. Number two is we know each other's wounds. And some of the best marriages are marriages that have been repaired because you know where to not go with your spouse. I know that's funny, but it's the truth. I know where to not go with Samantha. If I do go there, or if something takes Samantha to that place, I know I am in touch with lightning quick speed to the wounding that is being tapped into. She is incredibly vulnerable in certain areas, as am I. And Samantha knows that if she goes to that place, or if she sees life's circumstances creating the opportunity to bring me to that place, she knows how to meet me there. We are incredibly vulnerable with one another, but also when life creates circumstances that taps into that vulnerability, we know how to be there for each other better than we've ever known because we went through hell. Number three is we have a perspective that is radically different than the typical married couple. Same thing with Rick, same thing with some of you who have already been through this, and some of you who are in the middle of this right now are learning that perspective. And here's something that we do whenever we hit a difficult spot. We do our own little countdown, and I've said this before, but please indulge me, those of you that have been around here for a while. Number one is, how are we doing? Samantha and I. How are we? Are we okay? Are we married? Are we doing fine? Is there something in between us? Okay. And then there's the kids. Okay. And how are they doing? And where are they at? And then number 3, how is our relationship with God? And for those of you that know us very well, we are strong Christians, but a lot of you are not. And so please don't take issue with that, because your number 3 might be, how am I doing with myself? How is my relationship with myself? Am I walking in love? Am I walking in integrity? Am I self-aware? Am I present? After that, everything else is a very distant, down the list number. Yeah, I've almost lost my house at times. Yeah, I've gone bankrupt, I think, twice at my latest count. Yes, I've been suicidal more times than I can count prior to recovery. Absolutely. We have been through cancer, which was a couple of years ago. I haven't shared much about that yet, but I will. We've gone through a lot. Our perspective is radically different because our priorities are us and our immediate family, meaning our kids, and then after that, everything else has to get in line, and that's usually going to be a 3rd, 4th, or 5th, if you know what I'm saying. Just recently, we were navigating through a situation where she was seeing it one way and I was seeing it another way, and it really does have implications to our family, to some real close personal friends. I can't share any more about it because people that are kind of in the process might be watching. But we started to hit this difficult moment, and I went, hold on, Samantha, look at me, look at me. How are we doing? Are we good? You see me present, right? She's like, yeah. And I said, I see you present. The kids are fine. So we're making this too big of an issue in the grand scheme of things. And she said, you're right. And we laughed and ha, ha, ha. And then we're still kind of walking through the situation. But our perspective, as is the perspective for a restored, repaired, or a couple that is pursuing restoration and repair would do. So let me end today with an observation. My observation today is for you to understand that I know right now you may be of the mindset that says, how can this marriage live again? How can we find joy and life and peace and healing again? I know it seems impossible right now, but if you'll commit to the process, you absolutely can. 11 years or so ago, Samantha and I couldn't believe that we could have what we have right now. We just had our anniversary 2 weeks ago. And I'll tell you, we both are amazed at what continues to unfold. And I know that if both of you will commit to the process, you too will one day be amazed at what you have.